Welcome, dear viewers, to another deep dive on Anything You Want, where we unravel the stories no one dares to interpret and explore the mysteries rippling beneath the polished surface of Turkey's most dazzling productions. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, tap that join button to support the channel, and of course, hit the like button if you enjoy seeing us decode the heart of the entertainment world. Now, let's step into the shadows behind a drama that has captivated millions like a tidal wave, the phenomenon known as Sref Ruya. What began as a prestigious project, famous for its grand ambition, meticulous script, and magnetic cast, has suddenly found itself under a spotlight sharper than anything the producers could have prepared for. Not because of the storyline, not because of the breathtaking cinematography, but because of a few seconds of leaked footage that spread across the internet like wildfire. The kind of wildfire that devours assumptions, ignites speculation, and leaves behind a forest of questions that refuse to die out. For some, the video was nothing more than a performance, nothing beyond two highly accomplished actors fulfilling their roles with precision. But for others, something in that brief, electric moment whispered that a line had been crossed. A spark, an undertone, a tremor. Something indescribable but undeniable. The clip, initially shared in obscure corners of social media, soon expanded into a blazing inferno of debate. Viewers encountered a scene that felt too vivid, too unguarded, too real. And once the world saw it, there was no turning back. It all began with what should have been a straightforward emotional beat in the script. A fleeting moment described merely as the first flicker of connection between two fictional souls. Yet when Kagate Yulysoy and Demet Özdemir stepped into that space, something unfolded that wasn't in the original plan. Those watching behind the cameras reportedly froze, not in shock, but in awe. A hush fell across the set like a sudden windless void. Eyes widened. Breath shortened. Even the crew, seasoned with years of on-set experience, sensed that what they had witnessed belonged to a layer deeper than scripted emotion. A silent question hovered above everyone: what exactly just happened? And as the video made its way into the digital universe, the frenzy only intensified. Users from Turkey, the Balkans, Latin America, the Middle East, and even Europe dissected each frame with forensic obsession. The international press dove in, translating Turkish comments and amplifying the mystery. What struck them most wasn't the production quality or the context, it was the undeniable, potent interplay between the actors. A single question echoed globally. Is this chemistry? Purely professional? Before we continue, remember to tell us in the comments which celebrity pairings you'd like us to cover next. And if you want more deep-throttle investigations like this, don't forget that by supporting our channel through the join button, you help us bring you even more elaborate content here on Anything You Want. Now, let us return to the chaos. As the avalanche of speculation grew, the press swarmed Demet Özdemir. Reporters hurled questions like stones at a fortress, trying to find a crack. Her response, however, was calm, eerily calm. She neither dismissed nor dramatized the situation. Her words, poised and deliberate, swept across the internet like a gust of controlled fire. Whatever the story demanded, we portrayed it with absolute sincerity. This isn't confusion, it's art. Within minutes, those words became headlines. Some applauded her professionalism. Others insisted that the realism surpassed art as we know it. The debate transformed into a digital battlefield, with no army willing to retreat. Then came Kagate Yulysoy's moment. While Demet's response was polished, Kagate's reaction carried an entirely different energy. Asked whether the scene had been difficult to film, he scratched the back of his neck, allowed a small, almost bashful smile to appear, and answered. We shot it 2 or 3 times. It was a bit challenging. But the final result was beautiful. That smile, innocent yet loaded with inexplicable meaning, detonated across social media. People turned it into GIFs, memes, romantic edits, and even mock press conferences. Why the blush, Kagate, fans teased. What exactly was challenging, others questioned. One viewer wrote, filming that scene with Demet more than once? That's not work, that's divine intervention. As the waves of commentary grew into storms, new rumors emerged from inside the production. Writers alleged that once they saw the scene's explosive reaction online, they began reworking upcoming episodes to amplify the emotional arc between the characters. Tension, fear of loss, heartbreak, reunions, they enhanced everything. The energy that manifested spontaneously in that leaked moment began to shape the entire future of the series. But backstage? Backstage was a battlefield. The moment the leak went viral, the production fell into a suffocating silence. The director and producer reportedly locked themselves in a room for an intense, hours-long meeting. Phones were checked. Accusations whispered. A camera assistant recounted that an internal investigation began instantly. Not out of scandalous panic, but because, professionally, such breaches could jeopardize contracts, releases, and international deals. Yet no disciplinary measure could extinguish the global fascination. And then came the revelation that stunned even the most skeptical viewers. The scene was red-hot. Entirely. Not to recreate the leaked footage, no. According to the crew, the producers wanted a version that existed independently, free from scandal, something they could broadcast without the stigma of leaked content. So Demet and Kagate returned to the set, stepped into the glow of the lights, and attempted to recapture the moment that accidentally enthralled the world. But the magic of the first take refused to be summoned again. A lighting technician later confessed, some sparks cannot be recreated. The first moment, it had a life of its own. We felt it. Everyone did. And that comment alone became its own wildfire. As the weeks passed, fans split into opposing camps, each fiercer than the last. Some claimed undeniable chemistry, others insisted on pure professionalism, while a third group argued that such intensity might cause tension on set later. Comparisons were drawn with legendary on-screen couples from Turkey's past, icons whose partnerships became cultural landmarks. Could Demet and Kagate be the next great pair? Or was this moment just lightning trapped briefly in a bottle? Which brings us to the question haunting everyone, from fans to producers to the actors themselves. Did that scene change only the course of the series, or something much more personal? Only time will answer. But one thing is beyond dispute. If a few seconds of footage can send shockwaves across continents, the next episodes of Sref Ruya may very well rewrite the boundaries of Turkish television. Before we close, remember, this deep dive brought to you by Anything You Want exists thanks to your support. So if you're enjoying these immersive breakdowns, hit that like, drop a comment telling us your theory, and tap join to help us continue exploring the unseen world behind the glamour. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and stay with Anything You Want, where we bring you everything and anything you crave.